In this dark world, all we have is our meagre light and our shared experiences with which to survive. So step closer and huddle around the lantern light. Hear tell of the great beasts who lurk within the seas of golden grass. Out on the plain of many faces, the white lions roam. Haven't we all heard the story of how the lion got its hands? So let us start where you're most familiar. It is said that the white lion desired nothing more than to feel its own soft, white fur. Frustrated that it could not reach its own back, instead it killed other creatures and stroked its paws over their soft fur and skin. Then, one day, it was not just any creature, but a person, an unlucky soul that was caught by a white lion. As it caressed the fine hair of the young survivor, it became enthralled, for it had felt no satisfaction greater than this. It is said in that moment, its paws took after the victim and transformed into human hands. What truth is there to this tale? What truth is there to any myth or story? We can be confident its depictions of the lion's traits are accurate enough. For these are not simple-minded beasts. There seems to be more to their existence than meets the eye. White lions are beasts of majesty, with a golden mane that shimmers, golden whiskers that are tough like the strings of a harp, bleached white fur, soft and delicate to the touch, and the all too familiar strange hands. A lesser known feature of the lions are their eyes. With an iris like polished gold, the eyes are said to contain strange powers that allow the lion to see events still to come. If you are ever close enough to look more intently into the eye of a lion, it's possible you will see your own future. But I dare say you do not need to possess mystical powers to predict what would happen that close to the jaws of a monster. One should also carefully consider the lion's tail, an unassuming limb responsible for balancing the lion's nimble movement. But to balance such a beast, it surely possesses a surprising weight, and with it can strike like a cracking whip. Perhaps the most unsettling of all, at the head of this mountain of muscle is a face not entirely unhuman, which portrays a look of sorrow and grief. Of what we know of the lions, there may be good cause for such an appearance, or maybe we are projecting too much of ourselves into the creatures that stalk our surroundings. But who can blame us for seeing some of ourselves in the lions? More so than their features, it could be that their behaviour is not alien to us either. Out there in the dark, survivors have found strange shrines and effigies dedicated to the lions. We don't know if these are the acts of a distant, crazed settlement, worshipping the lions and giving up offerings, or if they are created by the lions themselves. Whilst the human fingers might be considered a tribute, a symbol after the lion's own transformation, it is curious that the jewellery a white lion will steal from its victims closely resembles the trinkets found at these effigies. Could it be that the beasts perform these as ritualistic acts, or perhaps they are taking trophies, just as we parade ourselves in the mane and furs of a slain lion? Either way, discovering such an effigy is a sure sign that you are within their territory, and we know the lions are territorial creatures. Another key giveaway that you've wandered into their hunting grounds would be the strong scent of ammonia, as they mark their turf with urine. Even the bravest survivors can feel their heartbeat quicken from the slightest whiff of an ammoniacal scent. More terrifying still, you may find yourself surrounded by a shredded landscape, stumbling into the scratching grounds where the beasts keep their claws sharp and pristine. Whilst a daring few may venture into these areas hoping to find a lion claw or two, some find more than they bargain for, with 5 sharp claws extending before them as they are confronted by a lion. Unless you are truly courageous, or foolish, do not linger long. White lions have a fantastic sense of smell, and if they catch your scent on the breeze, you may become the target of the beast's hunt. Nowhere is this more likely than in the seas of golden grass. Despite the sea's tranquil appearance, this is the lion's favoured hunting grounds. You won't be able to hide well. It will sniff you out and ambush you before you ever see it coming. Remember, a lion leaping into the long grass is tantamount to hunting a ghost on the battlefield. To lose sight of them is to take one step closer to death. These actions are a sign of its cunning, They are acts of finesse and grace. Do not confuse them for cowardice. A lion is a confident beast. It will happily stop mid-fight just to get a better read of you, or perhaps to intimidate you. And it will happily drop to the floor, even feigning injury, to encourage you to approach it, to lure you into a false sense of security. Take a step too close, and its human-like hands will swipe at you with lightning reflexes. Worse still, they may grasp you in those large, monstrous hands, as a white lion is capable of holding a fully grown adult and isolating them from their party before mauling them to death. It wants to take you where you are weakest and where it is strongest, alone in a one-on-one. In fact, many do not manage to confront a lion on their own terms at all, for those out on the hunt often find themselves hunted back. White lions will quietly pick off the stragglers, preying on the weak, preying on those exposed, or those knocked down to the ground. They will find an opportunity, and they will strike you without mercy. In this perhaps exists one of their weaknesses, for the beasts can sometimes see red. If you find yourself in the company of an injured soul, you may do your best to protect them, but if it's you or them, you can use that opportunity to escape, or even to strike, whilst the lion's focus is distracted. Despite their intelligence, or their apparent intelligence, these are merciless creatures who will not let up, and will not react or show many signs of humanity when fighting for their life. The only saving grace you may find is if you're able to strike a severe wound or two against the lion. And what a sound it is to hear the lion roar in pain, with a tremendous rumble that may shatter your mind or even knock you off your feet. And do pay attention, for these creatures have self-awareness too. They feel pain. Wound them severely, and you might find them more aware of their wounds than they are of you. Given the chance, an injured lion will sooner retreat and lick its wounds than stand its ground. There too may be an opportunity to wound or even finish the beast. And what should happen if you find yourself in the rare position to kill a white lion? That will depend on exactly what you kill. Kill an adult lion and you'll be the hero of your settlement. With resources galore, ensure you take the best you can. Its claws can make deadly weapons, its sinew can help craft a bow, its fur and hide can be used for garments, and if you can, take its golden eyes. Merely holding such objects can give you a great advantage. Those most attuned will use them to glance into the near future. The selfish may neglect to share this power, and instead consume the eyes, from which it is said they will be imbued with permanently heightened awareness and reflexes. But what instead if you find your spear impaling a mere cub? It makes sense. A dead cub will never grow. It will never hunt and kill you. To remove it now is to save yourself in the future. It is time to discuss the protective and family-oriented nature of the white lions. You might say these creatures are hyper-focused on familial matters. They are deeply protective of their young and of creating new generations. If you've ever woken in the night to screaming and cries that make you shake in fear, those nightmarish cries are those of a lion looking for a mate within the darkness. How could such a gut-wrenching scream come from anything less than an instinctual, desperate desire? Perhaps it is not too far removed from their ability to glean the future, that they do not properly separate the present from what is to come. Wound or kill a lion cub, even damage the lion's genitals, and you'll find yourself hunted to the ends of existence. Your only relief will be in death. A mother lion most of all is the one to be feared. They are known to grieve for their lost cubs and are capable of turning that grief into a great rage and strength. And there, when they are at their most deadly, when you should find yourself most scared, do we find a part of ourselves within these creatures. White lions, just like us, feel, and most of all, they feel grief and loss. Kill a cub and drive it to fury. Cut off a hand and watch the lion contemplate its bloody stump. It's almost enough to make you feel sorry. And within their lion society, they do as we do. Sometimes they banish the weak, or even the selfish. And can you not share in the pain of a creature who cares so much about family that's banished out into the darkness alone? Surely you do, as we all do. Otherwise, why would we have turned one of them into a legend, known as the Beast of Sorrow? Why it is called such has been lost to us, but we can surely speculate given all that we know. Perhaps the Beast of Sorrow is very old enough to have built a legend around itself, all despite the constant struggle to survive we all experience. It is not unlikely that this beast has lost all its relations, its parents, its children, its society, and now it wanders alone, with nothing in the past or its future. It could have lost them to time. It could have lost them to the hunt. The Beast of Sorrow may prowl the grass seas, too powerful to be killed, yet destined to be alone. Or perhaps its strength was born from anger. If lions banish other lions, it could have been forced to march alone a long time ago, and carries with it the shame always. To hunt and kill the Beast of Sorrow may end that lonesome misery, but you would not be the first to try. So the next time you find yourself encountering a lion, recognize it is not just a violent, mindless beast, but a cunning, majestic creature whose desire to survive and protect his family is likely just as strong as yours.